Daniel Sports Central be giving you guys my preseason college football rankings for the 2023 college football season. We are headed into a brand new college football season. The slates are cleared, and so today I'll be giving you guys my first top 25 of the season. And this video should give a pretty good idea as to which teams to really keep an eye on as we look forward to 2023. I'll be going over the teams that I think are your biggest contenders of this season, as well as teams maybe on the outside looking in, your potential dark horse teams as well. So with that, let's go ahead and get started with 1 through 7. And Georgia, no surprise here. They're number one, back-to-back national champions. Would not be surprised one bit if we saw them win it again in 2023. They're talented enough to do so. Obviously a different quarterback in there now with Carson Beck. He was just named the starter instead of Stetson Bennett, but I mean, offensively, this team is rebuilding. Defensively, they're stacked once again. Defensively, they've been brutal the past couple of years, and that's been the main strength of this team. And I mean, 2023, they should be just as good, could be even better in 2023, which is insane to say, but Georgia has emerged as the top power of college football right now. So I've got them at number one for sure. And Michigan, not far behind. Michigan, this is a team that has really emerged as well the past couple of years. And last season, another loss in the college football playoff semifinals, but they are loaded for 2023. J.J. McCarthy is back, Blake Corum's back, Donovan Edwards. The receiving core is stacked. This offense will be brutal, and defensively should be the same. So, I mean, Michigan last year, past couple of years, they've won the Big Ten, but haven't won in the college football playoff, and that's the next hump they have to get over. And I mean, they got over the hump of Ohio State and winning in the Big Ten, and the next step is winning in the semifinals. I think this is a team that very well could do that and win their title in 2023. USC's number 3. This is where you can kind of mix the teams up a bit. I think it's a no-brainer that Georgia's 1 and Michigan is 2 heading into the season. But USC is a team that last season you could have made a strong argument that they have the best offense in the country. Caleb Williams, the receiving core, Jordan Addison, Travis Dye. They were a brutal offense last season. It was just the defense that really held this team back. And heading into 2023, the offense looks to be just about as good. You do lose Jordan Addison, Travis Dye, but Caleb Williams is back, and he is probably the best quarterback in the country. And defensively, that was a big issue last season, and they should be better defensively this season. That's definitely been a focus, I think, this offseason is making sure that the defense has more talent and bringing in players from the transfer portal, and they've done that very well. So I think USC is definitely a team to keep an eye on. Pac-12 has got multiple teams that could be national contenders in 2023, and USC is absolutely one of them. LSU is number 4. They are back from the dead. That's a team that kind of fell off a bit after their 2019 national championship with Joe Burrow, but they are back. They are number 4 in my rankings. They are very much a college football playoff contender this season. They won the division over Alabama last year, and wouldn't be surprised if they do it again in 2023. That's a team with Jaden Daniels. Offensively, they're going to be brutal. Defensively, they look great. So keep an eye on LSU as well. And they've got a showdown in week 1 against Florida State, two teams that the past couple of years, especially last season, really emerged as a true contender. And both teams are returning a lot of talent, both very experienced. And LSU and Florida State facing off Sunday night of week 1. That's going to be an incredible matchup there. And definitely it could catapult one of those teams into the top 3 for sure. Alabama's number 5. And this is a team that had very high expectations heading into 2022. Bryce Young, that's a team that was the favorite to win the national title, and turns out didn't even make it to the college football playoff. So for Alabama, obviously they got to get back there. And I think that, it's still a Nick Saban coach team, and they've got Jalen Milroe in there now, which there's a little bit of uncertainty around him. Can he play at a high level, even similar to Bryce Young? And so the expectations are lower heading into the season, but that doesn't mean to count them out. Alabama could absolutely surprise some people and make it back this season, maybe even win yet another national title. Ohio State's number 6. They're kind of in the same position as Alabama. Really high expectations heading into 2022, and they made the college football playoff. A good season for them, and they almost beat Georgia. They were right there next to Georgia, and that was pretty much the national championship there, what we saw in the semifinals between the Bulldogs and the Buckeyes. But Ohio State, they got Indiana on the road in week 1, and I think that, they're talented enough and they have rebuilt. I wouldn't be surprised if they once again made it back to the college football playoff. But Michigan in the preseason does look better to me versus, say, Ohio State. Number 7 is Washington. Washington is a team to really keep an eye on as well. Michael Penix broke through last season once again, and offensively they're going to be excellent. Really think Washington is a team to keep an eye on, and they're getting some noise in the preseason, but they should be getting more. I think that's going to be a really good football team in 2023. So the Huskies are in the top 7. Moving on to 8 through 14, Florida State takes on LSU week 1. Obviously, we just mentioned that. And the Seminoles are very much a national contender. Once again, it's been a while since Florida State has been a big national contender. We saw them win a national title back in the 2013 season. Still were a 10-win team until 2016. Then 2017 through 2021 were very forgettable seasons for this team. Last year got back to 10 wins, and I wouldn't be surprised if they went beyond that in 2023. And obviously, that LSU-Florida State matchup has got big implications, far and away the biggest game of week 1, and it comes on Sunday night. So definitely keep an eye on the Noles, and I've got them in the top 8. They're as experienced as anybody in the country. Clemson's number 9. Cade Klubnik is in there at quarterback now, and depending on how good he proves to be, I do think Clemson is definitely a dark horse contender and definitely can make it back to the college football playoff in 2023. And I do think Clemson, I'm more confident in this team than I have been the past couple of years. I've got them in the top 10 once again. But I will say this too, take it on Duke on the road week 1. Duke should still be a halfway decent team in 2023. Do not want to be sleepwalking into that matchup on Monday night, because that could be a rude awakening there for Clemson. But I do think that I think they're definitely favorable against Duke. But once again, just keep an eye on that matchup. Definitely not one to sleep on. Penn State's number 10. They got West Virginia in week 1. Got them at home, one of the bottom teams of the Big 12. And Penn State's a team that really was overshadowed by Ohio State and Michigan last year. Really a great football team, 11-2 overall. And I do think Penn State, Drew Aller in there now, young quarterback. I do think that they're definitely a team to keep an eye on, and they maybe could surprise some people and top Michigan or Ohio State this season. That's very much within possibility, although I do have them at number 10 right now. Oregon's number 11. Portland State is who they take on in week 1. Bo Nix is back. Offensively, they're going to be brutal. And that's kind of the case with a lot of Pac-12 teams this season. And what could be the Pac-12's final season? You got so many strong offenses in the conference. Washington, USC, Oregon, Utah. It just goes on. It's just a very deep conference when it comes to offense. And you can make an argument it's the second best conference in college football heading into what could be its final season, which is insane to think about. But for Oregon, got them at number 11. Got them right behind Washington, their rival there. I've got the Huskies at 7, Oregon at 11, but both teams are pretty close. Notre Dame's number 12. Sam Hartman in there now, Wake Forest transfer. He brings tremendous potential to Notre Dame, and I wouldn't be surprised if they were also a dark horse contender. Really, any of the teams from, I'd say, the top to probably Utah are all teams that could definitely be in the college football playoff in 2023. And we could definitely see a surprise team. Like TCU was a huge surprise last season, so you never know with teams below 13, and Utah is at 13. I think that they can beat Florida in week 1. That's a crucial game for them for sure. And I think Utah, Cam Rising is back. That's going to be a strong team once again. Pac-12, your top 4 teams in the Pac-12 with Utah, Oregon, USC, and Washington should definitely see one of those teams in the college football playoff, I think. And so a really strong conference, and Utah is number 13. Texas is number 14, 8-5. This is a very talented team that is more than capable of being a contender. I don't know that they will be in 2023. I think that they could win the Big 12. So I would extend that college football playoff contention to 14 for Texas. In case if they win the Big 12. But either way, I don't see them going undefeated by any means. I still think that's a team that's got flaws, but they should be pretty solid in 2023. Moving on to 15 through 21, Tennessee at 15. I think that Joe Milton, it's really going to depend on him. Hendon Hooker last season really broke through. Joe Milton's got potential to do that. I mean, we'll see if he can be similar to that level that Hendon Hooker played at last season. I still think Tennessee is an SEC contender this season. I mean, they were 11-2 last year. Should still be a pretty solid team, but I do have them at 15. I'm a little bit conservative on them for now. North Carolina is 16. This is a team that I'm high on. Drake May, really like him. He shows a lot of the potential similar to Sam Howell. I don't think that Howell really reached his full potential, so we'll see if May can do that. But North Carolina is definitely one of those teams to keep an eye on. They could be a sneaky, really good team in 2023. Kansas State's number 17, and they turned out to win the Big 12 last season. I mean, K-State and TCU being the top two powers of the Big 12 last year. I mean, that was definitely a surprise, especially TCU making it to the national championship. Just makes you wonder, who could that team be in 2023? I mean, if TCU can do it, make it all the way to the national championship, it really could be most any team. I mean, TCU was a team that was expected to get 6 or 7 wins in 2023, not let alone get to the college football playoffs. You never know, but K-State, Will Howard coming back, I do like that team to still be pretty solid in 2023 and maybe win the Big 12 even again. I think the Big 12 is definitely wide open heading into the season, and Oklahoma very much a contender as well. They were 6-7 last year, so they weren't great. First-year head coach Brent Venables, and I do think they are improved in 2023. Don't think they're quite a major college football playoff contender yet, but I do think that they should be a solid 9 or 10 win team in 2023, and who knows, maybe even better than that. Wisconsin at number 19, Luke Fickell in there, Cincinnati head coach. I think Wisconsin is in great hands, really like their future, and the Badgers, Tanner Mordecai, I think they're at a very similar level to Iowa. I mean, both teams are going to have great defenses. I do think Wisconsin's offense will be better than Iowa's, even though Iowa's should definitely be improved now that they finally got a decent quarterback. They've been dealing with Spencer Petras and Alex Padilla. It's good to finally get rid of them for them and get onto Cade McNamara, who definitely is a talented quarterback. So Wisconsin, Iowa, both are probably my Big Ten West favorites. I'm probably leaning towards Wisconsin to win the division, but it's very close. Iowa, yeah, not far behind. I've got them at 20. Texas A&M is 21, 5-7 last year, biggest disappointment in the country. I mean, when you have the top recruiting class in the country and you go 5-7 the next year, just really confusing what Texas A&M did last year. But I do think that they have a step in the right direction. I'm keeping I'm going to still be conservative on them, but they should be improved in 2023, and if not, definitely some coaching changes need to be made. Moving on to 22 through 25, TCU's at 22. I am I'm careful about TCU this season. I know that they still got some decent expectations for 2023. I do think TCU falls off quite a bit. I've got them right around 6 or 7 wins this season, which seems like a huge drop off, but no more Max Duggan, Johnston. They lost a lot of their key talent from last season. It's just not the same team. And I mean, as much as I think they could still be good in 2023, I just think that it's going to be a different year for TCU, and I think they fall off a decent amount, but still, I'm going to keep them in the top 25, and they should get a pretty comfortable win, I think, in week 1 against Colorado. Then you got Oregon State 23. Oregon State, I honestly kind of want to put higher. DJ Uiagalelei in there. It's a really interesting team at Oregon State. You got your top 4 in the Pac-12 with Washington, USC, Oregon, and Utah. Oregon State's not far behind. They're definitely the dark horse of the conference. And I mean, it's shame for them that the Pac-12 has kind of fallen out the past few weeks, because they could have a really great season in 2023 for sure. I got 10 wins last season. They could go past that in 2023. Wouldn't be surprised. Ole Miss is 24. Jackson Dart, quarterback. I do think that Ole Miss is still a halfway decent team and should be one of the better teams in the SEC. And they were 8-5 last season. It kind of fell apart down the stretch, but still keep an eye on them. And Tulane is probably my favorite out of the group of 5. I mean, they went from 2-10 to 12-2 from 2021 to 2022. So you never know. We could see a big surprise group of 5 team take that position, but still still like Tulane. They are going to be experienced still. They return a lot of their key talent from last season as well, so keep an eye on them. And then your first 5 out, Texas Tech, really a team that I like. Keep an eye on them. And the Big 12 is wide open as it is. For all we know, Texas Tech could maybe win the conference this season. That is within possibility. I mean, my big 3 for the Big 12, probably K-State, Texas, Oklahoma, but Texas Tech not far behind, UCLA at 27, Arkansas 28. Then you got Miami and Maryland not far behind. Arkansas should be decent. Miami like them. Maryland is definitely a dark horse in the Big 10. Offensively, they should be pretty solid. Defensively, a couple of question marks, but I do think that Maryland is still a dark horse team in the Big 10. Keep an eye on them. They could pull a couple of big upsets, that's for sure. But with that, that's going to wrap up my first top 25 of the season. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below on this. And yeah, stay tuned because we do this every single week on this channel. Every Sunday, I give you guys an updated top 25. So with that, I appreciate you guys all watching it once again. Stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. Catch you on the next one.